Hey everyone, it's the Photo Tech here. I hope you're all doing well. Just wanted to make this video about the 1000Hz update on the G7se. Now that it's finally out for everyone. I just wanted to show you guys the co-pilot mode and also show you guys the improvements we've had in terms of aim response. So if you haven't done that already, there should be an update out for your Nexus, which should bring it to 1.2.9, and the G7se should be at 6.3. And this will give you the options of report rate in each profile, and it's basically adjustable for each individual profile. So on the fly, you can change it. Unfortunately, when we go to 500 or 1000 Hertz, the headphone jack is disabled. So this is just a sort of a workaround. You can use a standard series controller or an elite controller, whatever you have, in co-pilot mode and get the audio from the other controller. To get the controller basically put into co-pilot mode, I'll be using my Elite Series 2. So make sure that it's actually connected to your console. And what I like to do is use my G7se, go into the accessories app, and I can see basically both controllers here. So this is my Series 2. Inside Series 2, if I go into the settings, it should say this option, turn on co-pilot. So I will press on that, and this will vibrate my G7se, confirming that the co-pilot is now on, and I have a headset connected. So the moment you do this, you will start hearing the audio of the whole UI and everything. One thing you have to bear in mind, make sure your game is not running until you do this, because if the game is running and you go into the co-pilot mode, you lose connection. Basically, the game has no input. You will get the sound coming out, but controllers don't control the game. So once you've done that, then start the game. All right, so now I'm in the game. I'm controlling, basically the inputs are through my G7se, and the Elite Series 2 is working as a co-pilot controller, and the audio is coming out of the headset that's connected to the Elite Series 2. Now, one issue in this co-pilot mode is you have to factor in the stick center position of your co-pilot controller as well. So if I don't have the Elite Series 2 connected as a co-pilot controller, my usual settings would be, for my G7se, the dead zones will be 2 and 3 for the minimum. For the right stick will be 3, left for 2. And this is with Xbox sticks installed. So I like to use these replaceable Xbox thumbsticks. What these do is they reduce the resolution a little bit. So instead of having 178 steps in one direction from the center, you have 135. But they make them really snappy feeling, and it's a little bit different feeling than the standard one. So it's one way of sort of getting a different feel out of the controller. But these are my normal dead zones, and the way I have them calibrated, my sticks, I like the drift on the left side, basically. That's just what I prefer, so I want that little bit of a minor drift. But the Elite Series 2, the center position is a little bit different. So now I have to factor that in, and whatever the drift is going to be on the Series 2, that's what you have to basically keep your dead zones at. My Series 2 doesn't have that much of a game time, and if I really adjust them properly, I can keep it nicely. But if it's moved or whatever, it will start drifting. So you have to, if you have way more drift than my controller, then you might have to use a higher number of dead zone. That's the only downside that I have experienced with the Elite Series 2 or a standard series controller being used as your co-pilot one. Other than that, it works perfectly. So you use your controller for your inputs, and your audio will come out of your co-pilot controller. So definitely works. And the 1000Hz, I was worried that if we use the co-pilot mode, does that mean the 1000Hz is not working? And I've done tests. Yes, the 1000Hz still works if you're using the controller in the co-pilot mode. Before anybody leaves a comment, I did try using the G7se as co-pilot and the Elite Series 2, thinking maybe can we get 1000Hz working on the Elite? No, we still get those inconsistent responses when we start using the wireless of the Elite Series 2, even though we have the G7se connected. I did tests, and yeah, so it doesn't make the Elite Series 2 1000Hz, which is understandable, but I just thought, oh, what if we were getting better consistent results in wireless performance if we had a G7se connected, but that doesn't happen. Let's take a look at the performance improvements and some of the results of the test that I conducted. So how I tested was shot at 240 frames a second. The monitor was doing 120 Hz basically on Xbox Series X. and I basically counted from the frame the stick moved till how long it took for the screen to register. And in the 1000 hertz, it was the worst in the 1000 hertz I got was 9 frames, and the quickest was 7 frames. And in the 250 hertz, the worst was 10 frames. I even got one 11 frame, but it's like inconsistent. And the best was 8 frames. So 1000 hertz definitely way more consistent than the 250 hertz, because 250 hertz was like going up and down, but 1000 hertz like way more consistent. Like 8 was just there, sometimes 7 and sometimes 9. So just to quickly show you guys, so the test was basically that, just moving the stick, try to be very consistent, and then I'm just counting frame from the moment I have basically moved the stick, and then how long it's taking for the screen to move. So the stick sort of slightly moves here. I use some high contrasted color so I can see exactly when it's moving. So this is the frame that the sticks move. And then I'm looking for any slight register on the screen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So at 8th frame, I can see the screen moving. Some lines moving there, and the register there is also definitely a register. So 8 frames. And then of course, it starts registering a lot more. But what surprised me was not just the initial movement, it's when the stick stops, so when the stick recenters. Now, unfortunately, my sticks, and I think other K-Silver sticks as well, they do get a bit of a slope. So when you let it go, it comes back, it goes a little bit on the opposite side and then comes into the center. So if you just pay attention to that, you will see what I mean. So it sort of like comes back and goes there. So I try to count when it was recentered. So the stick recentered here. So this is going the other side and then coming back. So let's say this is the center position. So from here, how long is it going to take for the screen to stop moving? This is another test that I tried to look if there was a difference, and there was. In 250 hertz, it took more frames. So if this is the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. So it's usually 6th or 7th frame, it just stopped moving on the screen. From the frame the stick was center, the screen stopped moving. And this was very consistent. So every test I did was, like I said, 7 was the best and 9 was the worst. That was in the 1000 hertz. So this is another 1000 hertz test that I did, and same thing here. I'm going to basically count from the moment the stick moves, which is this frame. So the stick is moving here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the one that I got the 7th frame, and a few more as well. So 7th frame, I can see some stuff moving. And when the stick recenters, so this is the center position. So that's the center of the stick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there it stops at the 6th frame. Now let's quickly look at the 250 hertz as well. 250 hertz, like I said, was a bit all over the place. I got 10 frames, I got 8 frame as well. I never got a 7 frame in 250 hertz. And I never got a 10 frame in the 1000 hertz. So there is definitely that difference. So I got 10 frames in 250 hertz on the initial movement, which I never got in the 1000 hertz. And I got a 7 frame response in the 1000 hertz, which I never got in the 250 hertz. So this is a 250 hertz test. So this is the frame that we are counting from, this movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I get, yeah, so this is very slight movement on the 9th. So this is the 9th frame, and then 10th frame is like, I get a little bit more. But I can see very slight on the 9th. I think I've counted this as a 10th frame, but I can see that, yeah, I will say that this is a 9th frame one. And if I go into, yeah, so I count it as 9th frame. Now if I go back into the stick being centered, so this is where the stick recenters, and I will just count from where it comes back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 frames, 10th even, there was a slight movement there. So yeah, definitely more frames in 250 hertz for the screen to stop moving than the 1000 hertz. And this was consistent every test. 250 hertz, when the stick centered, was taking longer than the 1000 hertz. So this is another 250 hertz test. So here we have the the movement there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nothing on the 9th. 10th, I get very slight movement on the 10th. So this is what I mean. This is 250 hertz, and I got a 10th result. And did I check? Yeah, I checked the stoppage on this one as well. So if we come back, so the stick centers back here, and so this is the center position of the stick. Of course, it's going to go there and come back, but this is the center. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10th frame it stops. So this is what I mean. 250 hertz definitely is slower than the 1000 hertz for sure. Not even before doing these tests, I knew playing with the controller in the 1000 hertz that this is definitely way more responsive in the 1000 hertz. Now I did want to test the co-pilot mode as well, because I was worried. What if the 1000 hertz, checking in the co-pilot mode, what if it didn't work? And it does. The co-pilot, using the Elite Series 2 in co-pilot, and I tested the 1000 hertz, 250 hertz, and I got the same thing, 7 to 9 frames into 1000 hertz, and I did get 10 frame results in 250 hertz, 8 to 10 frames in 250 hertz. So this is in the co-pilot mode. So that's the first frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, 8th frame result there. This is in 1000 hertz. And I counted the stoppage as well there. So same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th frame. Yeah, completely stopped on 6th frame. So using the other controller in co-pilot mode, I don't think you are losing anything. The dead zone issue is there, depending on how much off center position your other controller is for co-pilot. But yeah, if you want to use the co-pilot mode in 1000 hertz, should be working. Only little bit of downsides. Now performance in the 1000 hertz is absolutely amazing. The controller feels so responsive, no matter the play style. Like you feel so connected to the aim. It's like your thumb is absolutely connected to the center dot on your screen. It's honestly really good experience. I like to snipe, and that was not a problem with this controller. And one thing that I did notice, that when you are quick scoping or sniping, the final little minute movement that you do to correct it or whatever, yeah, it was perfect. And even controlling recoil was really good in the 1000 hertz. Running around the map, navigating, if you're using a knife or a melee weapon or whatever, was a really good experience as well with this controller. Knowing exactly what you're doing, turning and stuff, absolutely amazing. I actually ended up doing the knife camos with this. I wanted to do it with the Stealth Ultra because you have 4 back buttons, weapon swap or whatever. I just used my G7se. So I do think this update has made this controller really good to aim with. Unfortunately, I took the audio away, and you guys might be thinking about getting some other solution. So my advice to you, if you're thinking about the Game Deck Gen 2 for Xbox, definitely don't get this one. I will be releasing the video about my test results of the latency on the audio equipment and stuff. Unfortunately, I had to do the test again because I thought I had messed up. I just couldn't believe the results I was getting, but I hadn't messed up. They are actually shocking. So definitely not the Game Deck Gen 2. But I've been unwell. I'm going to be working on that, basically completing the video this week. So I'll get that one out as soon as possible as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching this one. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions or whatever, definitely leave me a comment. I do my best to reply to every comment I get. And you guys, man, please share your experiences as well. The insight you leave, it's absolutely amazing. Not only helps me out, I'm sure it helps a lot of other people out as well. So if you're new to the channel, definitely check out the comment section. People do leave some amazing insights of how they're using controllers, what they're doing. Also share your experience. If you have negative experience, yes, definitely share your negative experiences as well, because that we need to tell other people about the negatives of the products as well, which is, in my case, I think that's more important than just telling all the positive things. So definitely share if something's gone wrong with your controller, potentially like what we are looking at, whatever, definitely share that as well. Thank you so much for everybody who subscribed. Your support means a lot. I hope this was useful. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to catch you guys in one of my other videos. Bye for now.